Hello and welcome to Friday, a couple of days after the election in the United States of America. An election that I always felt was more about what did humanity want rather than who was going to be elected. I know a lot of people got caught up in the noise of the election. Interestingly enough, the noise was so loud that it actually took away from the coronavirus noise, which is fascinating about how easy it is sometimes to distract their attention. I want to clarify a couple of things now that I can. One is I never had a leaning towards either of the candidates. I cast my ballot and I voted for truth. I voted for truth and I voted for love. And I believe that by doing that the universe then would solve who would win, and that the election would come out of the blue. Now, people can interpret that as me after saying, oh, blue, that must mean Biden. Or they'll hear me say things like, I wonder who the next president will be, and take, oh my God, he said B, so he must think Biden. But actually, I utilize those words just on a 3D level. And what I mean by 3D level is that, as I said, I just send so much energy into the pool that whoever is coming from truth, love most, not perfectly, but most, would and should win the election. And that way I could clear out the noise that social media and all these things put up to distract us. Because, you know, on a very 3D level, these things do affect our 3D worlds, our incomes and our livelihoods and all that other stuff that is associated with this. But, you know, as somebody reminded me recently, and I said I'd use this phrase because it's a brilliant catchphrase, it's called, I'm more interested in God's economy than humanity's economy. Because to me, God will be the one who decides everything anyway. When we take sides, we can become unbalanced, whilst all the teachings tell us, don't take sides, just sit in the middle, be love, use your energy to bring about the truth, to bring about what humanity needs right now. And, you know, you can visit different parts of yourself. You know, as I say, from a 3D point of view, you know, you could look at some of the carry-on that went on and, you know, make a qualified judgment. But actually, you know, qualified from what? Just qualified from 3D. Whilst if you lift it to a slightly higher realm than 3D, to say 4D, then you begin to realise that, you know, everybody's learning here. Everybody is has an opportunity to go into cooperation instead of competition. And as you know, one of the big things that has challenged me in this life was the inability of people to cooperate with each other. They seem to be always in competition with each other, you know, trying to prove that they were better or they had more than the other person, which, to be honest, is just a shame. But from the 5D, God's economy point of view, everything is perfect, you know, and that perfection is coming from the ability of us to surrender to this higher power who, you know, knows what the game is that's going on, understands it because, you know, in some way or always has created it. And so, you know, our task as students, spiritual students, is to get rid of the noise, get rid of the distractions, and you know, just be still. You know, what's that great saying? Be still and know that I am God. So, you know, I was surprised how many people were not able to hold that stillness, especially after years and years of meditation practice, workshops, spiritual teachings from some of the world's most incredible spiritual teachers. And, you know, it was interesting because it brought up in me something for me in which I was sort of, I've started this 21-day clock, as I call it, a Tinkathon, Think, Tinkathon, where over the next 21 days I'm going to consider myself what I should be doing with my precious time or with my energy, whether stuff needs to change or not, whether I wish to continue doing what I'm doing in the way I'm doing it, or stop it completely, or whatever it is. But, you know, to me, everything, as I say, is about energy, and that which you give your energy to grows. And so, you know, I've been given a lot of energy to the world during its crisis, and, you know, in doing so, believing that I was carrying out my karmic destiny or my karmic duty, and I hope I was, and hope I have made enough changes for people to carry on their own truth or their own path in whatever direction that takes, because it's not about controlling people, it's not about fencing people in, it's not about changing people's minds. It's about, you know, you being the example that stands as strong as you can in truth or in the lessons of life. And so, as I say, the day of the election, I got a very big lesson that has caused this 21-day clock to start to tick, where I have to make some decisions. And as I say, because I want to make sure, and I hope you do the same, I want to make sure that any energy that I give, that I'm sort of, you know, giving to ignorance as a gift. Yeah, I don't give it to God, God has enough. I give it to ignorance so that ignorance may find in itself its own true essence. Because yes, even under the greatest of ignorance lies a God being. You know, I have to believe that, because if I didn't believe that, why would I continue doing what I'm doing? So no matter how bad things get, I always turn to spirit. I always turn to source. I always look past the noise, past the traps, past the ignorance, past everybody else's ideas, because I've earned, and you see these wrinkles, I've earned, and the grey hair, I've earned my own wisdom. I've gone through life. I've, you know, got to a stage where, you know, 7 years ago, when I wrote a book, I had hit that point of stopping the struggle. Yeah, that's the name of the book that I've just released, Stop the Struggle. And the interesting thing was, I didn't even know back then that I was struggling. I actually thought I was doing great, but I wasn't. I was struggling. I was struggling to make sense of actions. I was struggling to make sense as why, you know, evil exists or doesn't exist, or why do people become so asleep or so self-absorbed in themselves that, you know, you have to just give up. You cannot help somebody who's self-absorbed. You can't. It's not possible. And yet your love and your compassion can go towards that idea and entrap you and drain your energy. Whilst if you apply the lesson of compassionate detachment, that's where you can hold compassion for somebody who is asleep, ignorant, suffering, whatever it is. without getting emotionally involved to the extent that your own energy, as I say, becomes inhibited towards the light. So anybody who is caught up at the moment in the where is my job gone, where is my next meal coming from, my rent payment, whatever, please just, as hard as it is, just hand it over to Spirit. Let Spirit bring you to where you're meant to be, not where your ego wants you to go. No, just where you are truly meant to be. Okay? And you might be surprised that you'll be brought to a place of grace. And why do I say grace? Because that's really what this is all about. It's about being so grateful for the smallest things in your life, like this warm coat I'm wearing or this hat. That the bigger things just flow. They just come because you're giving out that energy of grace, true grace. And whether it's only one meal a day or one meal a week, we can live without food for longer than we think, or water even, but we can't live without Spirit. We can't live without breath. And so we should save our breath and not try to change or convince people to look at certain things that they don't want to or they're not willing to. So you have to be able to know or engage in who that is, I suppose. Okay, so that's my message. Time to get rid of the noise and the clutter of everything that's going on. Settle into yourself. Settle into God's economy. Allow your mind to switch your spirit on, because that's what your mind actually does. It switches spirit on when you are out of your mind with worry. You hear that saying? I'm out of my mind with worry. That's a good place to be, because if you're out of your mind, Spirit takes over. If you're out of your head, Spirit takes over. And as we go through the next chapter of the world's learning, the world's school of ignorance to enlightenment, all as I can suggest to you is that utilizing mantra, prayer, or whatever it is that gets you into that space of clear understanding, use it. Now is the time to use it. And on the subject of mantra, the most powerful or first mantra that I learned was a very powerful mantra, and it went like this: Mama, Mama. Yeah, it was the day that I first used legible words to call my mother. Yeah, that's a mantra. It doesn't have to be as complicated as, it can be everything you surrendered, you realizing that you need your mother, you need help, you need guidance, you need nurturing, and so you call. And whether that's Mama, Dada, God, Spirit, Source, put all the energy you can behind it, and then sit still and wait for the gifts to arrive. Okay? You can look at the circus that's going on. Just don't get emotionally attached to it. Really don't, because it won't end well for you if you do. Just look at it, send love and light to truth, and love, and let Spirit see that there's one more glimmer of light awakening on the planet to help it fulfill its mission through you. Not by you, through you. Okay? Have a great weekend. Talk to you all soon. Bye.